Hey everyone, this is Louis7, and as an unusual stream time, I am playing the Lord of the Rings online with my burglar. And the whole reason I am streaming today is because I made a big mistake, not only once, but actually twice. So when I do streams, I typically record all the footage locally, like without the face cam overlay, the cat cam, all that sort of stuff, so I can just have the gameplay. And I'm working currently on a very big project that will require tons of editing, but I need footage of me getting legendary items for this video. So 2 times in the past while, with the new LI system, I have done exactly that, but both times I have forgotten to record it locally. So essentially, to edit this video, I needed to go ahead and get this gameplay. So this is something I'd kind of have to do anyway for the video, and I figured why not do a sort of bonus stream, something I was not originally planning on doing. I also don't know how many people will be able to join, since one, it's early afternoon my time in the US, and it's also a holiday today. That's why I couldn't play at this time, because I don't have to work today. But also, it is actually EU-friendly times, as you all have pointed out in the comments. So, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm kind of excited. And I'm already started the recording, so we're all good on that. We're on Fearless 3 difficulty, or Tier 3 difficulty, Fearless. And did want to say hello to the Zocker. I honestly can't read that name. It's a bunch of lines. It looks like a mix of I's and L's. And then J-Tov, and Stands in the Fire as well. So today, or to start off today, I need to level up, because I'm actually not high enough level to go do the legendary items quest. I'm level 42, and ideally I'd be 46. You could go there at 45. Hello, just me, Sven. So I think I'm going to do everybody's favorite content, missions. At least that's the plan, unless anybody has suggested alternatives that are good for rapid XP. I was thinking about like different quest areas I could do, but it'd take a while to get a little bit settled in all of them, and I don't know, I'm just not feeling that on the burglar today. But I don't know. We'll see after maybe an hour, because I do plan to use an XP booster for 1 hour. Plus, we have for the holiday weekend, which it's kind of Tuesday now, but we do have the 25% XP gain that is actually extending longer than usual, it seems, for the holiday today. So that is helpful, beneficial to me. I also do have all my XP boosters on this character. So, oh wow, that necklace is terrible. So we're all good on that. Gear-wise, I have level 30 armor, so it's not the best, but it'll do. We are on tier 3, I already mentioned, but that does give plus 20% monster XP. So we're really going to focus on the monster XP in these missions. And I thought to start off, it's not going to bad. It's been a while since I've done the Anak Curfew, so the War of Three Peaks missions, so I thought we could try that to start with the burglar. They're a little bit mixed in how good I feel they are. They are the first missions that Standing Stone Games released. Also, the Zocker, thank you for being a channel member for 14 months. That is pretty crazy. Seems like you like the early stream. I know I've done them every once in a while in the past, but nothing regular. Maybe I should do these a little bit more regularly, like try once a month. I used to do it on the weekends. It would be a fairly convenient time for me around now, early afternoon. Today wasn't really planned, so yesterday I was like, that's when I realized that I totally made the mistakes that I need to fix. And that is when I thought, maybe I'll do a stream tomorrow. And then I was like, I probably won't get around to that. But today, it was basically ended up being a like, why not situation. Also, I have to talk to Ozma first. What is this character's build? Okay, he has AoE. That's all that really matters for me right now. I just wanted to make sure, because I know I was messing around with some stuff on this character, I wanted to make sure I didn't spec for single target, which I love that you can do that on burglar. I actually thought about, or am thinking about, making a video about the burglar and perhaps extending it to every class, basically just talking about my thoughts on the class. As in particular, I thought it'd be interesting on the burglar, because I don't really play him that much. Can definitely this is very early in the gameplay, but I can definitely tell the increased difficulty because usually this guy basically one-shots mobs. If I do attack from stealth, I realize I'm not doing that either, but Provoke does the most damage at this point. I don't know if that will change with the allies in higher level, because I thought Surprise Strike was actually buffed to be better than it used to be. It had, at least in my experience playing burglars, including my 120-ish burglar, it had fallen off. But yeah, the Zocker anyway, thank you for being a channel member for so long, especially now the Mithril tier, which is crazy. That is a ton of support. I feel like I should support you with some more early streams. I have been spotted. I'm a stealthy burglar. How is that possible? And then, hello, WK Mowls? I'll try that. Try with that pronunciation. And then Mark, you were wondering how long it takes me and what was my preferred leveling tool. Like how long to get to the level cap? Because it takes quite a while. It's been a long time since I've just straight leveled a character to the cap. I think the closest thing would actually be my current Warden on Langeval, who I leveled on an ore without any level boost. But that was spread over a couple years, or few years really, as the level cap was progressively increased on the server. But yeah, that character, that was a ton of fun. I've actually been, from that character's experience, I don't know, having a little bit of nostalgia about Gondor, of all places. I had so much fun during the Gondor area on that character on an ore. It was pretty crazy. Oh yeah, skirmishes. I could try those. That's a good point, Mark. You said to 42, skirmishes are just regular quests. Okay, to get to this point. So this character, I did a lot of quests to get this level. Skirmishes might not be a bad option with XP, extra monster XP, with the increased difficulty. Especially, I know a particularly good skirmish with that if you can... if it's not like way too difficult with the system where it takes forever, Storm on Methodress. Yeah, normally with early streams, like during the weekday at least, normally I'm working at this time, so they aren't good. Like, I generally can't, but on weekends, it really depends on what I'm doing, but I could probably try to fit more in again. It seems like lately my early streams have been like 4 to 6 o'clock instead of, which would be like 3 to 5 hours from now. Also, I am fully going on autopilot here, which is not what I want to do. You're supposed to, well, not supposed to, but I'm supposed to round up all the mobs. I don't know how well this will go though, but supposed to round up all the mobs, get rid of these icons, and then just bring them back to Ozma because she has a super OP heal. But I don't know how well this will go on tier 3, but basically you get a ton of XP from this. Well, I don't know a ton, but a ton more than you would normally get. You also get tokens of heroism if you're interested in that stuff. I still haven't fully gotten through, I guess, the way the weekly or daily quests, I'm not even sure what it is. It's one of my big things with quests in LOTRO, repeatable quests. I wish they would clarify, or each quest will like specify if it's a repeatable quest that tells you that. But is it week? Oh, I'm about to die. Wow, I actually used the right ability. That was almost pure luck. Like, I knew that that's where I typically would keep an emergency ability like that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna hips. That was quite terrible. Big mistakes were made. My bad. I actually did want to test that, so it's not that big of a deal. Oh, Ozma doesn't attack them herself? Oh, whoa, what happened? This is not going well. That's the thing with the increased landscape difficulty, though. I just have to test these different scenarios because I'm used to this mission, Ozma's heal, being fairly OP. I don't even know what that stun trait is from. Is that an AoE stun? Oh, did I break this mission? Oh, I might have, because they're inactive. Alright. Whoa, watch out, paper. Yeah, I'm about to die again. We'll see. Maybe her heal will save me. Nope, that's not even strong enough. You may ask a newbie question. That is what the streams are for. Well, at least in part. Alright. I don't think I need to reset that. I think it... No, this is one that actually doesn't reset itself. Alright. We will do something else. Fortunately, I forgot to apply the XP boost, so I actually don't feel too bad about that during our experimentation phase. So I am perfectly comfortable with having that failed as horribly as it did. I don't know if I quite want to do the full skirmish, but maybe we can poke our heads in and see how tough it is to kill one group of mobs. So I even have a skirmish soldier on this character. I do. Well, I have the skirmish system unlocked, so I would have to. It looks like I went with the banner guard for the buffs, which I think kind of makes sense. But with the landscape difficulty, you might be able to actually get a decent warrior nowadays, especially at this level. At high levels, from what I remember, it's kind of tough to get something very useful, but I got destroyed. They also got Eye of Sauron, and I think I was rooted there, but yeah, that didn't go too well. It's also one of the things with all this AoE that I am attempting here at the start of the stream. It may look like it's going horribly and I'm dying a lot, but the Burglar just doesn't have much AoE, so this is, for me, really a great test just to see what happens to this character with the landscape difficulty in these different situations. But here we go, we got the mission to reset, and we can go back to what we're actually good at, which is single target damage. And I gotta remember at this point to pretty much ignore cunning attack. The big thing I want is upfront damage, just because you don't have as much time for the bleed to really do anything. Also, something I've been interested in testing, I don't know if anybody has looked into this, because to me it wouldn't make much sense for it to like even be a thing that needs testing, but for some reason in my experience the landscape difficulty seems to negatively impact damage over time more than upfront damage. But that could just be the way I am observing it and not actually how it is changed. But I just found it kind of interesting that it seems like on all the classes that have damage over time, which has been most noticeable on the Warden for me, as well as maybe a little bit Fire Runekeeper, it just seems like the dots are weaker than they normally are in comparison to other abilities. But I would have to actually measure that to see if that is the case, and I don't know that anybody's like, I haven't seen anybody else bring it up. The difficulty system's been out for a while on the other servers as well, so I don't know. I just don't know. It's, I think perhaps worth looking into, especially on a class again. Like if I go back to the Warden, I think on that class in particular, because the bleeds and damage over time just seems so weak, to see if that actually is the case. But yeah, just based on the tooltip, it seems like cunning attack is extra weak compared to what I'm used to, but it's not like I've played this character very frequently, and I don't actually know the damage of all this stuff before the update all that well. Burglar's an odd class with all of its, I guess the two main animation cancels would be Double-Edged Strike and then Addle, but having both of those and me having to just get used to the positioning of those, because usually on classes animation cancels are like Shift 1 for me. Where is Ozma? See, Ozma's not even showing up in my allies, which is kind of concerning. Maybe that's why I'm not getting any buff from her, which is something I would be used to getting. I'm getting my own self heal, I think, Relish Battle, which is 1% max morale. I guess that's a red line set bonus if I'd have to guess. Yeah.
What do you boys think about those hobgoblins? The boss acts real strange around.
Hey, that's actually, I think both of these, oh, I can't actually advance this in the mission, but that'll be an easy source of XP. Okay, so I'm going to stay here for now, though, just to help make sure this doesn't break itself. Also, I keep forgetting to use my XP booster, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. It might be slightly suboptimal at this point, but we can get that activated. Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm getting... Trying to look at the buffs. Okay, I do have actually Ozma's self heal, which is, it's a very strong heal, 693 morale every 3 seconds, but what's my corruption removal? Control 3? I've been meaning to check, does that actually do decent damage? It's not immediate, had a quick animation. Okay. And then at this point we go back around. So I want to see Surprise Strike, 1.5k. With just one hit. This is going to be against a different mob and without aim at this point. I don't think aim increases critical magnitude, but we'll see. Provoke 569. That didn't really tell with it without a crit. Okay, we'll do the same mob type. I will see if Provoke crits for more. It did not. But yeah, last time I played this character, Provoke did a lot more damage than Surprise Strike, and I know with Burglar, it's kind of been an interesting class where they've actually done a lot of little changes to the Burglar throughout patches, instead of like a lot of these other classes are getting relatively larger reworks all in one patch, where it seems like the just past few updates, there's always some like relatively little thing about Burglar, but could have big impacts. And it really is looking like with this character, now that I've used Surprise Strike a couple times, that it actually does more damage than Provoke now. I just remember on this character while leveling him through Evendim, I don't remember how much I played him before Evendim. I forget how I got to Evendim on this character, that's the thing. But yeah, I do remember that Provoke was quite a bit stronger than Surprise Strike, in combination with Surprise Strike having a relatively slower animation. So basically, in short, with all this, is I probably need to reorient a lot of these abilities. Well, maybe just those two for now. I will say Provoke still has the increased crit chance on your next ability buff, so that's a consideration for its usage. And then I think Surprise Strike is another one that does more damage from behind or stealth, so it's probably same buff for both of those, I would hope at least. I did use my XP boost, right? Yes, okay. We got double XP going on for a while. We'll try to do at least 3 missions. Unless there's a mission that I honestly don't remember the names of the missions, but if there's one that's particularly terrible with Gundabad, we might skip it, but otherwise I'll plan to do all 8 of these. Like, this is a super straightforward mission, just defeat 10 archers, it looks like. So there should be plenty of mobs and plenty of XP. At times Surprise Strike did less damage, but I know I was standing in front of him. In fact, it probably... I wonder in the combat log if it actually differentiates between what type of damage you're doing. Yeah, that just says Stealth Surprise Strike. But if it also has one for positional. Provoke's also nice, though, in that you can use it from range, which can be convenient on the landscape. Good old feint attack. I think it looks like, oh, I actually can spend the trait point and we can fix feint attack. The question is, what trait do I want? Probably don't want to worry about hips at this point. And it looks like I need character level 45. So in 2 levels, I can get coup de grace and sneak attack. So we'll just hoard trait points until then. It's kind of funky that that's the way it works, but a lot of classes at level 43, when you have 31 trait points, I usually don't spend that trait point, so I can use it on the bottom row when we get level 45. Hey, Edna, glad you like the cat cam, which does actually have both cats in it. Okay, so feint attack I should actually move to be one of my more primary abilities. It looks like it gives you stealth for 3 seconds. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Something like that, maybe? Okay, I did want to try. This is gonna take some time, but having combat analysis would really help with this. That one just says, oh, that's quite a while ago. Okay, I need to actually pay attention to what's going on. I'm just scrolling through, you all can probably see below me, but scrolling through to try to see when I got a hit with Surprise Strike there. But at this point, it's been so long that I can't even find when I used it. Wonderful. Probably here-ish. No, that's cunning attack. Oh, well. And then I think at one point you get something that guarantees a crit from stealth, which I think should apply to feint attack, because if I remember correctly, they fixed it so that all the stealths are the same. So the stealth that you actually activate from sneak, as well as the stealth that is from improved feint attack. Both of those versions of stealth are now the same in terms of damage calculations, I believe. I think it would be really great if that were the case, but I do believe that they fixed that consistency. So like cunning attack here should apply the stealth version. I didn't see if it actually crit, but that's 100 damage, which is different than all the other tooltips here. Tooltip numbers. Testing stuff with landscape difficulty really makes things more dangerous than they should be, when landscape difficulty is already more dangerous than it normally is. I'm so used to just being able to test stuff like that. And not have to worry about my character dying. Michael, he said, would you say Burg is harder or easier class to pick up in group play? So I don't play my Burglar too much in group play, and one of their biggest things that they bring to a group is actually the yellow line, the support spec, and I don't really play the yellow line. I don't think it's necessarily the easiest, but it's kind of different in that you're not just straight up dealing damage, but it's like, in my experience, what would set apart a great support burglar and a okay support burglar is ones that can do more damage because they can actually provide valuable damage. So there's a lot going on, and at least in my experience playing the DPS red and blue line, it's very fast paced, especially if you do things like use Addle for animation cancel, double edge strike, setting that up to animation cancel, and different things like that that just make it fairly fast paced. So in my experience, faster classes are usually a bit tougher to pick up initially. And usually when I think group play, I tend to think of, say, higher level play, because I actually think Burglar is a really easy class to get into for just solo play. But if you're looking at, like, I don't know, top tier type group play, then I think it could be relatively more difficult than some other classes. But it also depends on what you want to do in a group, I suppose. Okay, this one is just finding the boss at the end, which technically that's the Burglar's big... What am I trying to say? One of the big things they're good at. I can't think of the word. There's like a specific word, but anyway. The burglar can just sneak to the end. That's what I'm trying to say. But I actually want the XP from all these mobs. And, you know, maybe not die in the meantime would be great as well. Signatures can dish out the damage. That is one thing I have learned with this difficulty. Because even if I totally knock out a single mob like that, because burglar's strong and that's what burglar is good at, a couple of signatures is not very safe to get in a fight with. You know, I do have crowd control and all that sort of stuff, but if I can try to just kill them in the meantime, that would be ideal. Signatures do also give quite a bit of XP, so I like them for that. But if I can completely plan the fight from the start, even use my stun there, this guy stands no chance. You just gotta use your tools. I could have been looking for cheese. Honestly, I forgot exactly how I was phrasing whatever I was talking about. Aha, for some reason I thought that broke stealth. Maybe I'm thinking something else. I wonder if the big time you should use feint attack is actually, say you want to follow it up, you have 3 seconds to follow it up with, say, abilities that are improved by stealth. Double-edged strike and flashing blades, as I just used, are not necessarily improved by stealth. They get general stealth benefits of like just increased damage or whatever. But I'm guessing the more optimal way to use that is instead to use something like Stealth Surprise Strike, which that actually did even change the icon, so it's a little bit of confirmation that it does indeed work the way that I was thinking. Also, that was pretty bad. That's the time when I definitely could have used Riddle. Addle's the interrupt, Riddle's the one that you just riddle them so hard they're dazed for 30 seconds. You ever told anybody a riddle, they become so confused for 30 seconds that they forget that they're trying to basically kill you. But that gives you the opportunity to focus on other stuff. Also, why is this thing here? That's when stealth, okay. I wonder if that unlocks when you use feint attack. It seems like it should. Let's see. Yes, it actually does. Beautiful. Ah, see, I did things out of order there again. Okay, it gets done. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of my ability bar organization. Share the fun. I forget that's a thing. You can tell I play Burglar a ton. Use your stuns and the mobs can't hit you. Even if you're at 800 health, you can survive. Also, I believe my 1% morale healing is healing me for like, yeah, I guess 37, that would make sense. 1% is not much. Oh, Riddle, maybe that's the one I was thinking that broke stealth, not the debuff guy, whatever it's called. Reveal weakness. Wow, I am low on health. Alright, I'll just use touch and go or whatever it's called. Can't believe I remember the names. Sometimes I actually surprise myself that I remember the names of abilities. Fortunately, the Flame Strike is not that strong. That's actually, if there were a ground circle to appear, I much prefer the Flame Strike than the one that heals enemies. Hips. I feel like a true burglar, like actually doing burglar stuff in this mission. It's pretty wonderful. Like if I don't focus on progress, which I'm so used to, and of course today, one of the big goals is to get my legendary items and get level 46. But the landscape difficulty is just so much more fun because I actually had to use hips there, hide in plain sight. And you know, using my stuns on a burglar is actually very helpful to survival. It's quite amazing. There's some positional damage for you. Do I have any food? I have a very clean inventory, but do I have any food in this very clean and empty inventory? I don't see any. I have tons and tons of potions, though. I'm gonna use those up. Alright, well, we should be fine with this much health. Aw. Ah, that's bad. Where are my stuns? I totally lost my stuns for a second there. I think he's still in the... Why is he summoning ads? That's like... Don't they know I'm playing a burglar and that's not fair? Okay, got one of my potions used. One of the ads is riddled. I don't know how I survived this fight, to be honest. Oh, I didn't even mean to do that. I actually meant to press aim. Oh well, it didn't turn out too bad. Stony, you are wondering if the lag, how have the lag fixes been? Well, there's been one fix that they have implemented to one source of lag, and in my experience, overall from before the update compared to after, lag is better. But on Friday, is that when it was? Maybe it was Thursday or Saturday. I don't think it was Friday. No, it was Sunday, actually. I sure know my days and when I play LOTRO. But on... I don't think I like this mission, but we'll run it. On Sunday, I did have a few lag spikes, but again, it's very few play sessions and just one observation point, but the lag spikes weren't as bad. Also, this mission is not the one I thought, so it's okay. It still takes a moment for mobs to spawn in missions, but it's kind of hard for me to tell if that's longer than before or quicker than before. But I think that was one of the things that I've heard they were potentially hoping to be better, or at least maybe other people were expecting to be better because the specific fix had to do with delvings, but should have an impact to all players, even not running delvings. And then I think the other source of lag, it sounds like, was not actually in the patch. The other source that they identified, which would include basically fixes to the way a bunch of stacking effects work together to cause lag, which can be pretty big at high levels, especially when you have tons of effects on your characters. Instead of people not taking lore masters because lore masters cause lag in group content, maybe they'll not take captains because of all the captain buffs. I don't actually think that will be the case, but actually, it just reminds me of the thing with lore masters is people, not everybody, but some people didn't like lore masters in their group because they would cause lag with all their spell effects. That's when you know you're a powerful wizard, though. Your spells are just so strong that they cause lag to everybody else. I'm sure that would have been a joy in PvMP. When there are no signatures, and I'm fighting little whelplings one by one, difficulty ain't too bad. Oh yeah, I wonder if, I haven't heard any developer comment on if that was intentional with the removal of the epic conclusion effects. I know they have done some things with the options. I forget what that'd be shown in. But I saw these new options that I actually didn't even know existed. I don't know when they were added to the game. I think it's been a somewhat recent update. I don't even know where they are. It shouldn't be UI. I want to think. I thought it was combat as well, but it was it was animations. But it was like play optional combat animations and that stuff. So if you notice some animations missing, you might want to mess with these options. That said, I still haven't seen the epic conclusion effects even with those checked. So it's not something that I think that will fix for epic conclusion. It's so nice to see so many people here at this time of day. It really was a big question for me, being a holiday. I know it's early, so before people usually do get-togethers for today, if you are in the US, and otherwise, just not usually streaming at this time. So it is good to see quite a few people are here, and hopefully excited to see me make some progress on the Burglar. It is actually fun to get back to him. I have fun when I play the Burglar. It's just something I'm not always in the mood for. I think partially because of the class fantasy, but I actually do enjoy their gameplay, which is something I maybe mentioned earlier. I've been thinking about doing a video just talking about not really the state of the Burglar, but how I view the state of the Burglar from my own gameplay, the state of my Burglar gameplay. Maybe. And I'm really curious what other people think of the Burglar right now, because I just don't hear too many people talk about them, which is maybe a good thing, because normally when people talk about classes like that, they're complaining about them in one way or another. And if everything is fine, then you usually don't hear anything. So I'm kind of curious what people think of Burglar from solo gameplay, group gameplay, the support role, the yellow line, that's the one I play least frequently, the blue line. For me, I think red line's, it's pretty solid and fun. And I'm obviously playing the red line right now and quite enjoying it with the landscape difficulty in these missions. The blue line, I've always enjoyed the kit that the blue line offers, but it's not always the most fun for me to play, and it's not always the most useful, especially with the healing nerfs that it has received throughout the years. So it's a little bit less of a straightforward, this is great for extra survivability when playing solo if you're interested in that, maybe compared to how it used to be. So I think that's one of the specs where I feel like some adjustments could be made. And honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of every single class only having 2 specs and having one supplemental trait tree to support the other specializations. But I feel like either, for me to really enjoy the Burglar, I would either like to see Blue Line reworked a little bit and maybe move away from the RNG gamble perspective, just because I've never really found that to be a big class fantasy thing with the Burglar. But at the same time, it is a potential spec that I personally wouldn't mind seeing made into a more or less passive type tree. Alex, you're wondering, these missions available for everyone? So yeah, missions you will need, as Stands in the Fire says, you will need a specific either quest pack, or which would be included with VIP, or expansion pack. So the ones I'm doing right now are War of Three Peaks missions, which you would need the War of Three Peaks mini expansion to play these, which you can either get in the LOTRO store or from being VIP. This might also be still available on the LOTRO market, but I'm not 100% sure. Wait, we got purple boots of Nimrodel. Did I burgle that off of somebody? I must have, because you don't get loot in these. I thought I saw I looted like gloves or something burgling somebody, but I didn't realize I got these boots of the Nimrodel. Heavy armor. Nice. I always find it entertaining when you just totally burgle the shoes off of somebody and they don't notice. I also don't know why orcs or hobgoblins would be wearing elven boots, but whatever. Skatha's Legacy. I feel like I love this mission. This one just brings back memories of... Oh, no, actually, this isn't a great one. It's not a bad one, but I remember why this one's memorable. Because it is the perfect mission for a massive AoE class, aka for not the burglar. Because there are so many dense mobs here, you can just run around, round them up, and kill them all in AoE, which didn't even do like 25% of what I do on another class, and I died. Hello, Dracarys. Glad you like the content. I really like mixing it up. I'm enjoying playing all these different classes lately. Especially with the class trait point change, it is so much more freeing and less stress-free, which sounds probably a little bit ridiculous, but I really do find the leveling experience to be not stressful as it should be. Games shouldn't be stressful, but that's one of the big things that just kept me from playing random alts and doing this type of stuff before the class trait point revamp with Before the Shadows is I just didn't like that part of progression, so it has actually helped quite a lot. So, the Zocker, for you, the Burglar is one of your favorite classes, but can't beat your love for the Warden. And some things about them aren't too dissimilar. They're both agility based, so they're agile classes. Burglar's perhaps a little bit faster in terms of just class fantasy, in terms of how fast they attack. But yeah, comparing the Burglar to my favorite class, they're just different. But right now I'm really enjoying the Burglar, which I'm happy, because this was an unplanned play session, and I'm just not... I haven't been too much in the mood for Burglar. I was going to say I'm not, but right now I actually kind of am. I'm having a lot of fun on this character in these missions and with the increased landscape difficulty. Especially now that I got Feint Attack, that might seem like a minor thing that's just not the most impactful to have one more ability on a 5-second cooldown and no longer locked behind the crit chain. But I think this trait, it really changes the whole dynamic of Burglar gameplay. It's something I've noticed, but actually seeing the before and after while leveling up during this play session, having Feint Attack does, to me, improve the gameplay quite a bit, actually. Having it turned to improved Feint Attack, to be specific. Yeah, there's just a lot of interesting things about the Burglar. It always seems like a class based on like what I just described that I like in a class's gameplay. If you ignore the aesthetic part of it and class fantasy part of it, the Burglar gameplay is something I should really enjoy, and as I just play here, I really do enjoy playing them. I like pretty much all the different abilities. Subtle Stab, I feel like, is one that used to be kind of annoying. If I remember correctly, it used to have a slow animation, but nowadays it's a super fast animation. It actually feels like a Subtle Stab. So there's a lot of great stuff like that, and it seems like, based on my observations here, that Surprise Strike is finally better than Provoke, at least at this specific level, and the lower levels that my character has been. So it's nice to actually see Surprise Strike come back a little bit. I remember that was one that used to... Oh, we're out of combat. I just killed everything. I didn't need the heal. Goblin housing win. Can you imagine being able to decorate your Goblin Town house in LOTRO? I just gotta imagine how beautiful it is on the inside. I think these guys would probably have some absolutely wonderful decoration skills. But yeah, I'm not even using feint attack necessarily optimally. It probably doesn't make a big impact when playing solo like this, but if I'm lazy and don't go in stealth, as the type of situation it does make, as I use Surprise Strike there, turns it into the stealth version. Okay, this is going to be slightly on the tricky side, I think. There we go. Just gotta kill everything. I think when you unlock the last set bonus here, that also could make a pretty decent difference, because that is actually the situation, the fight I just did. Starting with aim basically means my first attack is guaranteed crit. So I get the guaranteed crit from Double Edge Strike, AoE there, but then Flashing Blades might not crit. And that first fight, the pull we just did before this one, Flashing Blades had the crit and AoE, so I was able to kill everything in basically 2 attacks. But that was not guaranteed, as I died to a couple greenies there. But that was not guaranteed. And when you get improved sneak, the difference is I wouldn't have to start with aim. This does only make, I suppose it is true, this does only make Surprise Strike and Cunning Attack a guaranteed crit. But that means I could open with Surprise Strike, I could use Double Edge Strike, which would cancel the animation of Surprise Strike, so you only go through Double Edge Strike animation anyway. But then after that, I could use aim, and that would allow me to guarantee crit the AoE with Flashing Blades. So that's another difference that you might see pretty big improvements from one set bonus as well. And I think that type of progression actually makes leveling exciting. I know feint attack is perhaps a really big difference from one maybe seemingly minor set bonus, but this mission's kind of going silly on me right now. Where are all these goblins coming from? Do they just keep going through their door until you destroy it? Oh, wait, no, I need potion. That's the problem when you get to the stuff that you don't actually use that frequently with utility or debuff removal. I was like, okay, I know one of these is debuff removal, but I thought I already used it. I still had a debuff, but I can just use my potions. I have 4 potions that I could actually have used there. Yeah, I imagine, is that P-off? But you said Surprise Strike after feint attack and rotation. I think that's how it's... Why are there so many goblins here? I'm not an AoE class. Normally I would love this, but yikes. And I don't have my increased AoE targets traceries from the LIs. I'm working on getting my LIs today. I have never seen this in this mission. This is quite funny. It's not bad for XP if I didn't die so much, but it's theoretically not bad for XP, just having all these mobs run right in front of you. Double Edge Strike? Wait, I used Double Edge Strike, but I didn't unlock Flashing Blades. And I can't use it, it's not like it's just bugged out. That was funny. Funky. Hold up. We'll get through this. Don't worry. Robert, glad you caught the stream as well. Hopefully you were enjoying it. Also, Dracarys, you were wondering a good website to find resource node location. So I know some websites, I don't even remember the name of them, but I am familiar that some had that, but maybe for the lower level crafting tiers. I haven't seen much of anything for, say, higher level crafting tiers, such as past maybe Gondor or such. I know a lot of the low level areas, I'm also familiar with those. A lot of the old group content areas. So like Dolden Inn, the giant halls at Misty Mountains, those are great places for resources to find crafting nodes. But those are a lot of the lower level ones, and I'm just not going to be as familiar with the higher level ones. Like any really good specific place like that. All these goblins have put me through. I'm gonna burgle them. Just kidding, he didn't have anything. Oh, wow. Why am I playing my burglar and not my champion right now? You are watching me play Dying Simulator. This brings the danger back to Goblin Town, though. Wait, am I getting loot in this mission? Maybe I have been getting loot. Yeah, maybe some of these I have been. I could let them all by, but I don't want to. This is just... I have never seen this before. And I've run this mission quite a bit, but I just don't hit that many targets with my AoE. That might have been like 5 or 6 kills there. But that's not even like it doesn't even make a dent in these goblins. The good news is I do have my subscriber buff, so I'm not getting anywhere from combat, crafting, and defeat. Crafting doesn't really matter, but like my armor isn't getting damage from this, but I just don't know what's going on. Has anybody ever seen this before? Why can't I be a champion? I don't know. I just killed, I think I'm killing about 6 in each pool because flashing blades, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's 5. Maybe I'm not one-shotting all of them, but I think the maximum that I could kill in one pool would be 10. So I am making, actually now I'm making quite the dent in them, but still it's not completely fixing the problem here. That probably moves me out of stealth, yeah. We're actually making progress though. This is really entertaining. It is a goblin party right now. There they go again. Alright, let's hunt this party first. I think that is 5 per group there. Oh wow. Okay, now I actually feel like a champion. Oh, that almost killed me. Okay, let's get these doors before they do that again. Just kidding. We were too slow. Their diversion worked with the other groups. That is true. The goblins are just trying to have a party here with their conga line. And I'm just trying to slaughter them all. I'm trying to slaughter them all and prevent them from leaving their doors. Why did I waste my AoE on one and then that didn't even activate my other AoE? I'm rooted right now. That was an actual sidestep. It's so funny when I completed that deed because of the root, it made it look like I did a sidestep. That was absolutely perfect timing. Survived a little bit longer that time with touch and go. It's got a 5-minute cooldown, but that let me make some progress through them. I really am determined. This might take a moment at this rate, but I'm determined to complete this mission, and I don't even know why. I should have used aim. Okay, we're still good. I'm gonna change things up a little bit. I don't even know where they go to. Like, what happens when they get to the end of the tunnel? Do they all just pile on there where I'd respawn anyway? That was satisfying. I feel like I'm getting good XP from all this though. So that's why I'm not too unhappy with continuing to do this. Do I let them go? I can't. I just can't. I can't let them go. Okay. Ah, that seemed to have broke double-edged strike. I wonder if he tried to use it too fast, if that's why it's breaking. Oh yeah, the subscriber buff. That is... There's a reason I call it the most OP item in the game. Technically, it's 2 items. One is the town services, and the other's the jug that prevents the item, whereas it is right now having a huge impact. on my ability to sustain this for a few minutes. Okay, we got some kills there. Oh, I'm still alive. Why am I alive? That is so weird. I'm not used to surviving that long. Like, I'm used to using my 2 abilities and that's it. At this rate, I might get level 46 just from this mission. I only have 20 minutes on my XP boost. Oh wow, I gotta step it up. Oh, here we go again. I need a sprint. Do I have anything that increases my run speed? I do have this. But I don't seem to have any coffees or other movement speed boosters in my very clean and organized inventory. Oh, actually I have this one right here. I don't know if that's combat or out of combat, but there we go, I used it. Oh boy, this is bad. And they rooted me. That's even worse. Okay, I have a potion. I might get through this. Oh, and now they're healing. Great. Okay, I need to look if this stun right here is AoE. No, it's not. The AoE stun, I would have to spend quite a few trade points on the yellow line. Getting all this loot from them. Look at all these clothes I've taken from the dead goblins. This might be the biggest challenge I've done on this character. It was before landscape difficulty, but I did Numenos quite a bit under leveled as well. Which does have some, say more, oh, they saw me, more group oriented areas. But I think this takes the cake. And I'm rooted right now. Okay, we've taken care of those goblins, and we're back here again. I don't have much health, but I do have touch and go ready. So I'm going to go back to this strategy. I'm going to this side. Oh, that is a lot of bleeds. Oh wow, I leveled up. I actually did level up from that, wow. Okay, we closed one of the doors. We made progress. We're halfway done with the mission now. I'm rooted. Actually can't do anything about that. I feel like I'm ruining all the fun, but at the same time, I finally feel like I'm making progress. Oh, I'm gonna get myself in so much trouble for doing this, but I want to follow them and see where they're going. I have to find out what they're up to. Like, what are all these goblins doing? Oh. Sorry, dude. They all came just to stand and party here. How many goblins is that? Oh, that's bad. Okay, we'll see where I respawn. Okay, a little bit ahead of them. Alright. We'll wait for aim. In the meantime, I guess I won't burgle them. Exactly right. I am one of them fellow goblins. I honestly might have to come to this mission to just farm XP in the future. Like, if you reward track XP, if you have your allies, this might not be a bad mission for that, to be honest. Three health, really? Shame of defeat. I don't know why I just noticed that debuff, but they really all are calling me out for dying. Well, we stopped those two party goblins from coming out, but we still have a bunch up here, it looks like. Goblins really do like conga lines as well. So that would be both of these groups. It's kind of sad to be making progress in this, I do have to admit. Like, it's about time that I made progress, but I'm not gonna know what to do without the goblin party going on. Any news on Sagroth barter / vendor? Soon with class allies? I'm not entirely sure. I wouldn't be surprised if like update 37 is when they'd add a barter for that. I'm kind of surprised they wouldn't have added one for update 36. I haven't paid much attention to that though since then. I feel like they added a barter for something, but maybe not. Okay, it looks mostly safe here. Hello, cat. And after all this time, we have finally finished this mission. Can't leave any goblins alive after that, though. What are the cats doing? Are they fighting each other? What are you doing? I don't know what the cat is doing. Yeah, maybe. She's trying to pretend she's a party goblin as well. Alright, what are the spoils from that? I know I have my XP boost going, but I am currently more interested in what I actually got out of all that. I don't think I got the pristine hides and the such from that. And I know I had everything, like I had everything sold that I wanted to sell in my inventory. But yeah, not terrible on the spoils from that either. We are level 45, so I'm high enough level to get my legendary items, so we made that progress. Hello, William. Doing good today. Hopefully you are doing good as well. On this fine, way too hot outside day. But I'm not outside, so it doesn't matter too much anyway. Besides, that means my AC is warmer than ideal. I am fairly comfortable. It's usually when my AC has more issues with this apartment is normally when it gets to like more mid-afternoon, I would say. Yeah, some of the combat animations are pretty, like, I don't dislike them, but I do agree that some of them could be refreshed on the Burglar. Going back to a little bit of the Burglar conversation, perhaps that's a good point. With something like Surprise Strike, it has a different animation that I remember it used to have, where it's a little bit faster maybe, but that's the type of thing where it maybe just doesn't feel quite as updated as some other class animations. A lot of them are, to me, fairly decent though, but yeah, I don't know. Ooh, we're in Kidzel Claw. I was like, I thought I recognized this place from that instance in particular. Perhaps flashing blades. I realize that's a little bit more of a... It's kind of a bigger ability, but I do notice the animation, if I'm really paying attention to the animations, that... Well, I guess we don't have that available now. Also, what's up with Purge Corruption not being able to be used kind of frequently? Do I have to be in stealth for that? But I feel like I've had that happen on the Burglar before when we were first testing the landscape difficulty. Like now, oh, does it require a crit? Maybe that's why it has such a short cooldown for the balance. Yes, it's critical hit chain. Never did actually notice that. I wonder if when you have a bunch of the crit chain stuff, if that actually... Because that's a really quick animation. I could see Burglars perhaps using that in rotation over flashing blades just because of the quick animations. If you can get a ton of boosts on it to where it almost does as much damage as something like flashing blades anyway. I don't know if that is the case, but it's kind of interesting to think about. Also, this is clearly set. I kind of like that this mission puts this place in like kind of correctly in the timeline for when you'd run the mission. So this character is level 45 and would know absolutely nothing about this place, but this is a level 126 man instance. So being level 120 located in the Vales of Anduin, it comes before, chronologically before War of Three Peaks, and this is actually the boss that you defeat. Oh, I guess you just kind of go inside of her, but that's the boss you defeat in this instance. So it's kind of interesting to see this in the completed phase. I suppose after you left the mission, if you built a story around this, these Dour Hand dwarves started to take over the mines, and for some reason you can't have that be the case. Anyway, this is I've run this mission before, because I have run all of the War of Three Peaks missions, but this one's pretty fun. I feel like I've only run it... Oh, whoa, my health, hold up. Okay, that guy died really quickly, so we're fine, but still, that was scary for a second. Oh yeah, Burglar was one of the classes where you had to use so many skills for... The mission, the instance continued down there, actually, I believe. Maybe. No, this was the final boss room. The mission just had a hallway that looked, or the instance had a hallway that looked like this prior to the, at some point prior to that. But anyway, we got it done. But yeah, the clash trait point changes really is, to me, just so helpful with wanting to play different classes. Helped a ton with Guardian, even though I already did a lot of those. It still helped a ton with that Guardian. And really all my characters. I'd say Brawler was the one where it felt like the least of the issue in terms of class deeds, but that to me was a very minor part of what made class trait points annoying. Okay, we'll see how this mission is, because it looks like one that will have more signatures to it. Also, I'm really curious what this giant troll has. Oh, can't even burgle him. He's so large. His pockets are probably the size of me. Probably should have used feint attack, but that's okay. Perfect time for provoke when they knock me back. I think technically you have two ranged abilities, throw knife as well. I also think provoke is an ability that would be impacted by the ranged attack extension tracery. A very random note. I don't think I'd recommend that for burglars, but I think that is one that would actually qualify, like meets the threshold for how much range it has to be impacted by that in the first place. Signatures are definitely fun to fight though, with the landscape difficulty on the burglar. It'll be a little bit close, it seems, if I use 0 of my stuns. Like this one I got through fine actually without the stuns, but they're really helpful. Which I feel like is exactly how stuns should be in LOTRO. Or any game for that matter. If it's going to be a mechanic, might as well actually make it worth using them. And this one would have probably been a really tough fight without that stun, because I had to remove the corruption and I think he was in a healing puddle for a little bit. Hello, Meister? I don't think that's quite Meister, but maybe it is. Anyway, he said, I'm doing well today, and what do I mean by correcting mistakes? So that's actually from way back at the start of the stream that I talked about. It's the whole reason I'm doing a stream. This stream, me doing it, is correcting my mistake. Because I normally record my streams, the gameplay locally. So that includes without like the cat cam, my face cam, my own face cam overlay and all that sort of stuff. Oh, there's a stun. Okay. I have to remove corruption. Let's do that. But the mistake is that both times recently that I have acquired legendary items on a character, like Fresh... Oh, I thought I stunned him in time. But Fresh required him. Fresh acquired legendary items on a character. I forgot to record the local gameplay. And I'm working on a pretty big project where I basically need that footage for a video. And maybe even multiple videos coming up. But primarily for this big project. So either way, to get this project done when I want to get it done, I would have had to do this and get a legendary item on a character again. Even though I just did it on my champion a little bit longer ago, but I did it on my hunter. I think that hunter might have been right before I actually started to make sure I record gameplay locally with streams, because that's when I started to be a bit more picky about editing, with having to essentially block my own camera or whatever to have a decent video. Oh, this is bad. Why are those animations felt so slow that fight? I was like pressing so many buttons and it just didn't seem like things were going off when I wanted. I don't know if there was just like not necessarily the stuttering or hitchy lag that we get sometimes in LOTRO, but just a little bit slower response time during that. But anyway, that's the whole thing about correcting my mistake. It's basically the reason the stream exists. Which it was annoying at the time, but now I'm actually really happy to be playing this character. It's been really fun so far, and we haven't even gotten to the point of acquiring the allies. I also have a cat in my way. She is attacking my burglar. Good thing riddle lasts a while. That guy was really dazed by the riddle I told him. This is bad. I think he has stun immunity, or I would use that stun. Do we need to use touch and go? Because he has a corruption, I'm gonna be safe. We're at the end of the mission anyway. I think that is it. Perfect. Let's see, somebody mentioned something about provoke. Oh yeah, so playing Blue Burglar, no, it was, yeah, related more so to my own mistake of related to videos and streams and the such. But provoke is quite nice because it connect like an additional RNG stun during raids. Can it stun? I feel like I kind of remember that. What makes it stun? I forget what that is. But I'm kind of remembering that. Perhaps it's a legendary item, not legacy, tracery, or something else, but maybe that's if you're playing blue line? Could that have been it? Or yellow line for that matter. That's one I'm less familiar with. But anyway, we got now that we're level 45, we've been 45 for a while, we got level 45 during the Great Goblin Party of July 4th, 2023. But got both of these traits now. Capstone traits, Sneak Attack and Coup de Grace, a very fun skill. That should be fine. Although technically, aim has a lower cooldown. But that should be fine. I'm probably gonna have to put in some work on these. Maybe we'll do that. That looks decent to me. Find footing. Yeah, let's move that to shift 8. Okay, I think that should work okay-ish for me. Hello, Sai. Glad you are. Glad that we are going to Burglar. Burglar's been fun. And then I have cats in my way. If people are wondering what I'm doing, I can't read the chat without moving. But do I know when Umbar is coming out? So the expansion is slated for last quarter of 2023. My realistic expectation is December, but it's entirely possible they'll go earlier and make it November. It just seems like they have so much stuff lined up for it. It's hard to see it being ready in November, but who knows? If it's like Gundabad, they might release it in I don't want to say half finished state. Gundabad was maybe like an 80% finished state. Maybe 70, maybe 60 to 80%, depending what you consider finished. But if it's like that, it could be a little bit earlier. Like if they're intending to finish quest lines after the expansion launch, and if they're intending to add instances after the expansion launch instead of on expansion launch, or even a little bit early. Yes, we are on so early today. Wow, it's actually only 2:05. I thought it was even later at this point. Oh yeah, I was like, why is my back so sore today? But it's actually from a video I recorded yesterday. Because it was like one where I was standing, but standing very still the whole time. Which I guess is not as good for my back as standing and moving a little bit, as I can do during the streams. Okay, so the skill from you playing yellow, and then if you have a tracer, you have the chance to stun the enemy for a random timer. That could definitely be convenient on mobs that are stunnable. Even in solo gameplay, the RNG stun, if you're on landscape difficulty where it actually is helpful to stun things, then yeah. Also, why do I have... Let's just cancel that. I already have those things. Tokens of Heroism, we have those ready to turn in. Why don't we turn those in? I don't know what I want to do next. It looks like we ran out of the double XP boost that I had. We are level 45, so I can get I can get my legendary items, and that's the whole goal of today, is to get the allies. But I wouldn't mind getting level 46 first. I know it's possible at 45. I just don't have fun fighting red mobs, but it's probably not a problem anyway. So I don't know. We could do 45. And the landscape difficulty, as we found, that's actually another why did I do that? I already have those items. It's just like force of habit when I go there. But yeah, I'm thinking we could go ahead and do legendary items. I'll get a little bit of XP along the way. We don't have the landscape difficulty apply there, which that's the correction of the other part where correcting mistakes comes in. Okay, so it looks like there are 3 tiers of the tokens of heroism. I don't know what the reset is on that, but it does look like it will have a Thursday reset, which matches, I think, a lot of raids. So if it's weekly, you can do that 3 times. As far as heroes marks that I have, let's see. I have 24 heroes marks. One of them gives you reputation. I've heard these potions are really, really bad. Like, really bad. I don't know if that's an intended thing. I've also heard it's not worth getting the elixir of heroism, and people have said it has like no impact after testing, especially if you only have 3 tiers of this. Like, I guess for alts, maybe on an alt I could turn those in. I thought it was tracking account wide, so I'm not sure. There aren't many things that actually work like that account wide. As much as I would love account wide stuff, I'm not entirely sure on that one. And then the emotes, I think you need reputation. So stalwart, daring, I don't know if I have daring reputation. Also Gaston, thank you for becoming a channel member. I do appreciate that. That helps support the content and maybe helps support here more streams at this type of time. But yeah, I'm in stalwart. For daring, I don't know, like I could get one of these boosters. It's only 5 tokens of heroism, or not 5 tokens of heroism, but 5 heroes marks. But then the potions of morale, I don't know. We'll try one of everything. I won't get the power potion, but we'll see how much this reputation one gives. Wait, does it not actually say on it? No, it does not. That's weird. But it gives 500. Anyway, thank you, Gaston, as well, for gifting memberships. I think you were the first person on my channel to actually gift memberships, so that really is appreciated. Hopefully those people enjoy having the memberships. That means they can, I think they get like full membership, which means early access to some videos, which should actually apply a bit in the near future. And you get fancy emojis. I think you just get access to all the emojis. So there's wonderful ones. I don't have burglar, but I have ward in there. Wait, you hope the LM revamp that they're working on is true? Do you like the idea of maybe the idea of Blue Line Lore Master becoming like a Red Line Captain? I've seen some people say that, but even if that is the case, for me, unfortunately, the biggest problem that I'd have with that is that it's basically the exact same. Maybe we can try a mission. I feel like I'm up for a challenge on this character. And the missions, well, these weapons are quite outdated, but not the missions. The skirmish that I attempted earlier, that could be quite the challenge for us to try to complete. Yeah, my weapons are, I don't know. Gonna get new legendary weapon though. Okay, how do I close this on my dashboard? I need to refresh the stream. Not the stream, but my own chat. I accidentally broke it. I guess I'm glad you're having fun on your burglar. I'm having a lot of fun as I'm playing my burglar now as well and trying to decide what actually to do. I really want to test these potions. Because presumably these would scale with your level. They just don't say how much they heal for, which is, I don't know, I'd rather it be pretty clear. I also don't know if you can just use these whenever, or if they have like some prerequisite that you have the landscape difficulty buff on you. There's actually a way we could test that. Yeah, sure. Anything that is above duo size, the landscape difficulty will turn off. Also, as we're going to Walls of Moria, Story quests. Yeah, looks like I can use these potions even in an instance. So if they're very valuable potions, you might want them, or if they don't share a cooldown. We'll test all this, but if they don't share a cooldown with regular potions and all that sort of stuff, then these might actually be good if you run group content, just to have another self-heal option, if they're actually valuable. Okay, so let's... Stormall Methodress is, it's a skirmish I run. It seems like a lot, but it's not my favorite. I'm more in the mood for something like Thievery and Mischief. Even Trouble in Tuckborough, okay. This is an absolute classic for burglars for some reason. For my burglars that I have played in LOTRO, this is just like their skirmish, and I don't even know why. But for some reason, this is a skirmish for this character. High Elf, that's actually a great point with High Elf Burglar. So I have a Race of Man Burglar because he was made before burglars, High Elves could be burglars. Oh, what? Wow. Okay. I wasn't quite expecting that much damage, to be honest. Like, I know coup de grace is strong and whatever, and that I also did double-edged strike, but I got 5 crits and one-shot the signature. These are pretty normal strength mobs. They're just in skirmishes, and you have like your ally to help you and whatever, but burglars can still do a lot of damage on their openers. Let's see, normal coup de grace still quite a bit strong. But yeah, I honestly would play a High Elf Burglar just because I prefer to play High Elves. That said, I do like this character. He's the first Race of Man character in a while that I've actually felt connected to. That said, the Avatar update kind of made him look uglier to me. So I don't know. Moving forward, it'd probably take a lot of effort to fix him because of all the sliders now. The downside of having sliders and more options for character customization is... Oh wow, my skirmish soldier is like just dying. I thought he'd survive a little bit more because he shouldn't be impacted by the landscape difficulty or anything, but maybe he is. Technically, I don't have to defeat this counterattack, but half the point of me being here is for XP, so I feel the need to. Yeah, I also feel like going back to the animations, though, double-edged strike is another one I'm kind of noticing could, I don't know, just be changed, even if it's not a faster animation. Right now, I am playing as a red burglar. I could try blue. I'm just not much in the mood for blue. I'm having a lot of fun on red right now. Plus, just me being more comfortable with the red line, to be honest. I do think that I'm a lot safer, despite my death there. I am a lot safer in the red line. Also, I forgot at this point that we were supposed to be testing the potion. So I will do that. Maybe. Okay, maybe not this fight. That's such a satisfying combo. Blue's definitely not bad for leveling, but yeah, red is really good just for the amount of damage it does. I could play yellow, that's true. Is it just me or did that goblin disappear? Something happened with these goblins in LOTRO. I don't know if I like it. Forming conga lines, having massive parties, disappearing. Are we sure that we're going to Umbar with the expansion? Is it not a secret goblin expansion that they're all preparing for? Oh, let's test the potion. That healed me for 393. That was quite terrible, to be honest. Maybe it's intended to be about 10-ish% of your morale, but I don't know. I feel like a potion should heal a little bit more than 10%, to be honest. Okay, that is safe. And then we have... Actually, it's attacking bounders. Somebody's car alarms going off. And goblins are having fun. That is true. The bad thing about the skirmish is the skirmish soldiers get stuck a lot, it seems. That guy was basically dead before he got a combat even. It's like every 30 seconds you have essentially a guaranteed signature one-shotter now. I quite like that. Okay, so do I have blue line set up? I do. Full gamble damage. Wait, why don't I have points in that right now? Oh well. And then this is mint buff. Yeah, we can get that and all in. Okay, so with me not being... oh boy, this is a mess. But immediately familiar with the blue line gameplay, what I'm going to do is there was a counterattack. Oh, it was a growl and then the chirp of sickle flies. Okay, we'll see if we can find the bear, and I will try to fight the bear in blue line here. I think the big thing is going to be Gambler Strike. I don't know if there's any advantage from using that in stealth though. I'm not seeing the bear. Maybe we can get some warm up on these willow flies. See how much damage that even does in the first place. So 200, that's a pretty strong dot, especially considering the landscape difficulty. That's a lot stronger than cunning attack, and that was pretty low tier. Tier 2 does 166. That was tier 6, so that's 297. So it is a pretty strong dot. And I think it ticks every 2 seconds. Okay, both of these are every 2 seconds. Yeah, we can see. I'll do all in and everything. Try to get this guy off his healing thing. Also, do I have a stun? There's a stun. Do I have a heal? I have touch and go. Okay. Not the best start with that. Do I have a corruption removal? I do, but it's not on my skill bar. Okay, he's not going to take much damage. Cash out? Does that do anything? Dude. I need to find my corruption removal. There it is. How long does that corruption last? Does it just last until... Yep, lasts until he's out of combat. Alright, so do I have a stun that I can activate here? I don't see one. Okay, I think I'm comfortable enough at this point. Just kidding. 3.1k damage to me. The good news is I killed him though, but his mighty melee attack, that almost would have one-shot me anyway. So it's not like if I waited even longer to heal up without actually getting a stun on him, I was kind of done for anyway. Oh yeah, I forgot about the weak potion I could have used. But yeah, blue line over time, it really was adding up in terms of damage with the gamble. That was a really strong bleed on that. But I think for normal, shorter fights, and especially ones with multiple mobs, it'll be hard to beat Redline. Herbalist wouldn't be a bad idea, I don't think. I think I had the Banner Guard basically because he could buff you. Yeah, that potion heals for like 300 again, and it shares a cooldown with regular potions. Okay, that is really terrible. That potion is horrible value right now. 100% not worth getting. I wasted like 4 heroes marks or whatever the tokens of heroism convert to to find that out. But now we can all know for sure. Potion's terrible. Bad value. Okay, I think we can hopefully get through this relatively safely from now, though. So I think, okay, we still have one of the counter, or not counterattacks, encounters left. But I'm not sure if this will get me level 46, but probably close enough. But I'm happy to have experienced a skirmish. This is actually the first full skirmish I've run with the landscape difficulty at tier 3, and it's just, I don't know, fairly interesting, especially considering I don't have a particularly great skirmish soldier. I'm gonna try more AoE damage this time. That seemed to work out okay. Unfortunately, I ended up using coup de grace there. Yeah, Banner Guard, he'd taken a lot of damage there. Yikes. I did get scammed from a potion. Somebody earlier talked about their burglar becoming a potion dealer. And just, I think, basically giving out bad potions. That is exactly what the Hardened Traveler is. And he kind of fits that because he is the master of stealth as well. I could be staring right at him and not even realize it. I think Sneak, yeah, does nothing to movement speed right now, but there are points where I believe that can be improved. Also, why is this set bonus? Oh, I don't even have that set bonus activated. Okay. I haven't paid too much attention because I've mainly been using like coup de grace, but which wouldn't even be affected by that, and double-edged strike. But that is a good note. I don't actually have that yet, in case I were relying on it. No more defender for them. Hello, health. When do I think that Burglar starts to shine? Couldn't add stream marker. What? I don't know what YouTube is doing to me right now. Oh well. It's been a while since I've leveled one, and especially with the like series of little changes they have done the past year or two. I feel like on my burglar, I really noticed like this is a lot of classes though, that around level 30, it seemed like you got a decent bit of your kit, and my burglar really starting to improve, and I got into a pretty decent rotation with him. At that point though, a key difference is that Provoke was actually stronger than Surprise Strike, like it just did more damage. And that does not at least appear to be the case anymore. And I don't think it's just because I've leveled up, because this was even true like back at level 40 for this character, when I play him a bit in a Numenos and the such. Uh-oh, I'm dying. Bad time to type notes. Okay, so champion revamp. Yeah, they did a captain revamp, not a champion one. So Sean, you said that you don't see interest in landscape difficulty. Seems kind of rudimentary in terms of way it has been implemented. Yeah, it is pretty basic in that it effectively nerfs your character, but that way it doesn't impact people that don't have that set tire. And it is true you die more often. But to me, it's just entertaining with the increased difficulty, and have to actually pay attention, use class utility and different things like that more. Actually use some of the gameplay kit of the class instead of like on this character. I could just essentially press random buttons and easily defeat mobs otherwise. And it makes situations like this scary when they normally actually wouldn't be. I think I'm about to die. Okay, looks like I did not pull, didn't mean to use coup de grace there. I was gonna say I didn't pull the signature, but here he is anyway. Okay, then I want to stun the Bearer of Blight, although he's basically dead anyway by the time I get to that. That wasn't the smoothest of fights, but I did survive that time. And I think that's actually a good example of a fight that's a lot more entertaining than it normally would be. Oh yeah, my banner guard's pulling things. The downside of playing a burglar in a skirmish. Well, no add-all for them, or riddle, I mean. And then for champion revamp though, so one of the things that I really like about the champion is the distinction between single target and AoE. So I know with basically any class revamp, it seems like you have to bring up the fact that a lot of classes have had a trait tree removed, or not a trait tree, but a specialization removed and changed to a trait tree with supplemental traits to support the other specializations. For champion, it's kind of interesting when it comes to tanking and the blue line, because right now I really do like that red line and yellow line are two distinct DPS specs, one focusing more heavily on the single target and another focusing more heavily on the AoE. Assuming things are balanced, you basically have to pick and choose which is best for you, which you have most fun with in terms of doing AoE damage or single target damage. So I really like that. I realized I don't play champion a ton. Wow, that was a terrible fight. But I do enjoy champion, and I do enjoy that aspect of them, even if I do end up mostly enjoying the red line more. But sometimes there are situations where yellow line is just so much better for whatever situation that I still can enjoy playing the yellow line. So you have to kind of weigh those pros and cons. So I will say in terms of just general class and how the trait trees work, I like that aspect. But then the question is, where does blue line fit for a champion? I feel like I'm perfectly fine with them being an alternative tank spec compared to other classes. I think they should be pretty viable. One thing that I'm not a fan of though with tank design is trying to design certain tanks to be off tanks and certain tanks to be main tanks. I'd rather each tank just be designed uniquely, but designed in a way to fill the tank role instead of the off tank role or the main tank role. So I'd like to see champion blue line have the identity of a tank. Now for me, what that would look like is, in my dream world, it would be a parry-based dual-wielding tank, because that is something we do not have, and to me that just fits the idea of champion so well as a tank. So that's what all this build-up is really leading towards. I would love to see a parry-based, and I realize parry BPE as a whole is not really the most viable in terms of raids and the such, but that could just be more of the idea of it rather than maybe even how it actually works. Maybe you get more mitigations instead of increased parry chance or whatever, but just that whole idea. Now for the DPS specs, I think there are some changes they could make. Like Blade Storm, I believe, is the ability in the yellow line. This is going bad. Let's see if Hips works. Bad Black Spike too. Okay, that did work. Wow. Okay, we'll take a moment to let lag do its thing, and I will try to focus on the champion a little bit. But yeah, with like both red and yellow line, I think there are certain skills that could be touched up, but overall, despite me not playing the champion a ton because I get relatively bored of it over time and playing it playing it a lot in a row, I really do enjoy the basic gameplay kit of the champion. So I think more touch-ups of different abilities like Merciful Strike, Blade Storm, a couple ones that are easy to name, I'd like to see touched up, and a general refresh to the class could be exciting, like a fairly thorough look of the distribution of traits in each of the specs as well. For the both red and yellow line, Final Tree perk is boring for the champion. See, that's the stuff I'm a little bit less familiar with, and that's why I think a thorough look at an even holistic look at the trait trees could be beneficial with basically any class, but that does include champion. That's one thing I'm really hoping with the Guardian revamp. Even if they didn't change redline gameplay, I think the trait tree itself could use some really big changes. And it's kind of that same idea with the champion. Okay, that fight went okay enough. And hello, Bright Life, good to see you. But you said that you find vanilla blue line champs off tanks were a lot of fun in old raids, and enjoyed leveling with blue line champion at times. I enjoyed playing blue line champion, but I don't know how much. I didn't really play it back when they had a shield, so my main experience with them is post Helm's Deep, I guess, and post shield removal. I know I've seen some people comment they would like to see the shield given back to them. I forgot to loot the chest, but that's okay. Counter strikes, I think, could work very well. It'd almost be like the Guardian's parry chain, but champion version. They already have riposte though. It'd be helpful if I were on a champion, but I forget riposte if that requires a BPE event or what activates that. But there's already the precedent for something like that existing for them. That needs to be a video for the parry-based tank. Maybe it could be. But the reason I focus so much on that is because I really, for me, would like the idea of having that. Also, maybe this provides context for why my skirmish soldier is so weak. He's level 33. Actually, I can train him to 33. Right now, he's 29. But anyway, that was pretty entertaining doing the skirmish with tier 3 difficulty. Of course, if you were just running a skirmish and wanted to be more difficult, you could increase the skirmish difficulty, but this was a little bit different way to do that. And you also get the benefits of being on tier 3. And we got the cats going crazy and being party goblins again. Champion. That would have been very useful for the goblin party, I will say. Also, I need to go down this way, not back up to the prancing pony is where I was going for some reason. But okay, it's time to finally actually get to the fixing my mistake part and get my legendary items. Where do I go for that? Rivendell? This character, he has not traveled much. Like, he's been a Western Eriador burglar. Evandim, didn't do 4 kill on him. I forget what I did before Evandim. Maybe it was North Downs. I don't know. But either way, he is one where I could easily spend mithril coins to get to Rivendell. It's 1 mithril coin, and I'd basically be there. But there is a new option that I want to test. So Swanfleet, we can go, let's see, we'll have to go to Westbury for this. But we can go to Eregion from Swanfleet now, in particular from Western Eregion. Okay, Riposte does specifically require a parry. So yeah, they already have a skill that kind of plays to that. But right now they do two-handed weapons. I am also a big fan of you just being able to choose which weapons you want and both of them being essentially the same performance-wise. Okay, so we can swift travel to Mossward and Swanfleet. Oh yeah, could talk to Gandalf. That is true, Alex. That is a great point. Gandalf and the Prancing Pony will take you to Rivendell. I think if you never complete the quest, you can keep doing that if you like cancel it and whatever. But I'm not too familiar with it because I don't use it that frequently. But I did want to either way actually test how well this works or how long it takes maybe. This is a beautiful area. As much as I was kind of bored by the Swanfleet quests, the non-Western Eregion Swanfleet quests I should specify, this area is so beautiful. I did love Western Eregion though. Those quests were quite fun. It just took a moment for the zone to pick up for me. Yeah, a huge animation update I don't find too likely with LOTRO. The executive producer, he likes to talk a lot about how expensive animations are. It sounds like something that they would like to do, but it's, as he says, expensive. Okay, so you can use the port, then drop the quest. So that's an option. Yeah, hunters... Elves could have the Rivendell travel, which I'm used to playing, well, I guess high elves at this point. But I'm used to having travel to Rivendell. That is a good point, Bright Life. You said that you like the old animations. But I find that some of the simplicity in the older animations is nice, and I'm reminded actually of World of Warcraft. I forget exactly which expansion or update this was, but they updated a lot of the animations in the game, and there were quite a few that I actually disliked after the animation update. In particular, on my human mage, the animations, especially for Fire Mage, I thought looked terrible after the revamp they did to animations compared to before. So a huge animations revamp, you'd have to be careful to avoid situations like that. I honestly don't know if other people ever felt the same way, but I think I actually made a video, one of my few WoW videos, like dedicated to a WoW topic. I made a video that included that as a section in it. But I honestly don't remember if too many people commented on that specific point of it. Also, I have a cat in my way again. Yeah, some animations definitely are on the janky thing, especially if you think outside of class animations. Maybe you mentioned like horses' front legs have missing frames, that type of stuff. Maybe that's like more of adjustments that could be made without messing up the combat animations too much. This makes me want to level my Warden and Cardillon and being in this area again, because I really do. I love the world building here. I hope that's never... Anybody who finds my comments on the Swanfleet quest being boring doesn't get it wrong. That I love the world building. Cattail? Not quite visible. There she is. Oh yeah, see, that's one reason I don't really use cloaks. Sometimes the clipping and animations of them bother me. I also just I found them kind of ugly lately, to be honest. But notice a lot fewer of those issues when you just don't use cloaks. I wonder how difficult it would be for me to play LOTRO without a map. I am absolutely obsessed with the maps. I've actually been thinking about a Goblin Town challenge with landscape difficulty. So there were a couple options I was thinking, but landscape difficulty tier 3, but without ever using a map. Maybe the textures will load soon. This is kind of funky. Isn't there supposed to be a camp? Okay, it's coming up here in a moment. There we go. Don't worry, it'll load the landscape. There we go. But yeah, I was thinking about that, or tier 9 Goblin Town solo. That, to me, the problem with doing tier 9 solo in Goblin Town is it just take forever and it start to, like, take forever because I'm just dying a lot. But then that's what led me to thinking about without map and just compromising for tier 3 difficulty. Another one that I was thinking was no mini map either. No radar up there. I don't think I like that idea as much, but Goblin Town without a map and maybe hand drawing a map, that could be entertaining. I feel like it'd have to be a whole day type event though. Like just something I'd end up having to do throughout the whole day to even get it done. But it could be fun. Don't mind me mining this copper deposit while on my horse, not moving my hands or anything. Yeah, Goblin Town's fun. More monitor brightness turned down to 10%. I already have enough trouble seeing with these bright lights behind my monitor. And every time you take a shot, that does sound like suffering. Okay, what's the best way to get to Eregion? There are a couple ways on the map here. I'm kind of skeptical about this road. This one looks a bit fishy to me. Yeah, I was gonna say. Because I think we are getting close to... Is that Marobal? No, that's Thammirdane. Okay. And I don't think he can go into that. We could cross the bridge, or I could go on an adventure here. Okay, so that road looks like it'd be definitely the safe normal option, and this is just an alternative route. Anyway, oh, this doesn't even dismount us, how convenient. But if you follow this road, the north road, I guess, in this case, that will take you here very nicely. Can this character gather ancient iron? Is he stuck on artisan? Oh no. I actually feel like I need the master tier ores. I don't need them, but I don't have many that I have seen. Where are we going? We can get the Eked Memorable Travel, I suppose, to have that. Also, these mobs are like level 51, 52. I want to find out how deadly they are. This is perhaps a terrible idea. Okay, that's very terrible idea. I was too slow to hide in plain sight as well. We'll try that when I actually have my burglar's advantage of stealth and attack from surprise. Kierden. Oh, that was Bright Life saying Kierden. Good to see. Okay. You all got me all confused there. The Leviness. You said good to catch you live from Europe. Yes, I am streaming early today. And the mistake was that I have gotten the new legendary items, like through Walls of Moria in that normal process, twice now since the LI revamp. And both times, I did not record footage for that, like, locally. I, of course, have the streams, but it blocks, like, I don't record, capture the cat cam, face cam, etc. And I'm working on a pretty big project that will require a lot of that footage and to have a good quality video than it otherwise would be. I basically need that gameplay, so this is something I was going to do anyway. And because it is an off day for me, being July 4th and all in the US, this is something I was going to do anyway, and basically decided might as well stream it. I also had to level the burglar in the first place, so it's taking a while to even get to the point of getting the lives. But I've checked like 20 times. I am recording right now, and I have like 400 gigabytes on the drive, so I should have no issues with that. But the whole point of correcting the mistake was that that's the whole reason the stream exists. And now we also know that landscape difficulty doesn't apply in the Walls of Moria because it counts as one of those story instances. So that's, I don't know, something else that's good to note. That was, perhaps I mistakenly thought difficulty was applying the first time on the champion, and now I'll know that it's not. This is a fairly flat area in Aragon. I really do love this zone, but it's been a while since I've quested here. I don't remember the last character that did. Feeling like Runekeeper, but that doesn't make sense. Maybe it was Lore Master. Yeah, it might have been Runekeeper. Actually. Because he was going to go through Angmar, but got too high level and all sorts of problems with that. So I think it might have been my Runekeeper. It's been a couple of years though. Maybe even 3 years. If that is the case. But yeah, it's been a while since I've done a good thorough zone playthrough in LOTRO. I feel like I've been enjoying lately a lot of more random projects like this character, the recent champion one. Just really playing with the landscape difficulty lately. I feel like I'm off the road, but I think we're fine. You can tell at one point that there were like flat stones here for more of a path. It's kind of overtaken by a lot of rocks and small rubble. It's all texture, though. There's not, like, actual rocks. But kind of neat details you can pay attention to. You can see the dried up stream bed. There's an elf. Limb layer. Oh, the map to zone issues with roads. Well, with the new map, probably won't notice that anymore. It's not a terrible map. Like, the new styles aren't necessarily terrible. I just have preferred, every time we bring up maps, I have to go to, I think the Rohan maps are great, and the Isengard, like, Dunland map is another one. I like just the style they were using in those. They were a little bit more detailed than the, as people have described them, parchment paper maps. But they're also not quite the just satellite imagery that you have in an area like this and beyond. Even the Western Gondor like region map, I like the style of that, but then Central Gondor it switches over. I think, yeah, Enedwaith they updated as well, which makes it looks really funky on that map to me. I did not realize how sore my back would be from yesterday, but I am definitely feeling it. From recording a video, of all things. made it sound like I did some strenuous physical activity. Alright, ready to head into Walls of Moria and get my legendary items. Third time's the charm. I also would like to do the side quests. They don't take all that long to do. You can see the difficulty doesn't apply. And yeah, that's once again for that gameplay for the video. So now we defeat Kraven. I should go really fast though, in theory, because I just did this on the champion like 2 days ago or whatever. No, it's been a while. It's been like a week or two or something. I am putting a lot of LOTRO content creation on my back. Especially, I have 3 big projects coming up. Ideally, I can get them all done while I have time, because in the middle of July, I have to travel work school related, and then I'm actually visiting family after that I haven't seen in a while. Do I level through Moria or do I choose another area? It's been a while since I've leveled through Moria, but it kind of depends on the character and what mood I'm in. I know my lore master more or less, he did the very initial parts of Moria, but otherwise skipped and did Lothorian, like started Lothorian low level. And nowadays with missions, it's super easy to skip Moria if you don't like it. If you have access to missions, I suppose, is a little disclaimer there. You have to actually have access to them to be able to run them, but they really are a great way. Also, I still have my Hobbit gift open. They are a great way to perhaps skip a zone or a particular region you don't like, which could be Moria for some people. Level 46, there we go. The level I actually like to be, so mobs are not red. It's purely psychological, but to me it's more of a feel-bad gameplay when half your attacks are missing from deflects, rather than if they all actually hit but did half damage, which is kind of almost more like the landscape difficulty system compared to just fighting red mobs the whole time. That's why I essentially don't like doing things 5 levels under level typically. Maybe I'll get a good offhand. I remember there being some one-handed weapons, but I forget exactly what they are. I know there's a hammer or 2, because I got... Maybe I already had a hammer on my champion, and the hammer I got is when I dual wielded and roleplayed as a shaman for a brief moment. Some actually useful potions. And this is the time when I was in this cave, I was like, wow, I'm doing tons of damage on my champion. 1 attack of coup de grace. This does 3 hits. 1 attack. Almost double the health of this green mob. Even fighting green mobs wasn't that difficult on tier 3. But it's so different. I'm doing so much more damage. Provoke. I'm not even sure it did half that damage on a normal mob. On level. Not even like... These mobs are above my level. Got 3 hits of... I think just about all those. One of those might not have one-shot him, but... It's just such a different gameplay experience with landscape difficulty versus without. Okay, so I need to go up, which I believe is this. Oh, nope. This way. Without landscape difficulty, I really not only don't have to bother with stealth, but I was having to use my stuns, all that sort of stuff. Although my self-heal, the 1% heal is still 1%, not very strong. I think even looking at the icon for the bleeds, they're about twice the damage for cunning attack. Which still, it's the same thing in that it adds up over time, but for normal fights, even with the increased damage, it's still not worth it on regular fights. Wow, flashing blades did not effectively one-shot.
If it were not for the prospect of finding Mithril,
Okay, one more dwarf. And then I think there's a strong box I'll have to loot. Why do I feel like this is a dead end? I feel like I missed something. This is quite embarrassing right now. Is this it, maybe? $3.8K, just about 3.9K. Deflected. See, that's the difference with fighting higher level mobs. They're just super unexpected deflected right there. Okay, so oh, I can't actually test Surprise Strike now. I was gonna see how much damage Surprise Strike did in comparison. Unlucky dwarf. Very unlucky.
the time has come to drive forth the orcs from our kingdom.
Then I think the other two turn-ins are outside. I realize I've played for over 2 hours at this point, but I sure have made a lot of progress already. Like, this character started, what was he at, like level 42? Was he 43? He could have been 43, but I think he was 42 at the start of the stream. So not only have I gotten a few levels, I completed all the War of Three Peaks missions, including the Great Goblin Party.
Dwarves must fight for dwarves.
We also did a skirmish with the landscape difficulty. So a lot of different things that I've tested as well, other than just the what I feel like is good progress in terms of leveling up. Although I've kind of gotten to this point where I'm sort of funneling a lot of my characters to the level 50-ish range, which is not a bad thing to have characters there, but I just happen to have a lot at the specific level range now, like right around 50. I think my hunter is up to 54 or something. My champion's 48-ish, I want to say. Now the burglar's 46, and he did start at 42, it sounds like.
May Durin return soon to his halls. Dwarves must fight for dwarves.
We are running low on pickaxes.
Now we're going back to Bozy. And then the expedition for dwarves is the quest guide's not showing. Okay, that one should be a turn in there. Maybe this will be a legendary item speed run with doing all the side quests. I just feel like I'm going super fast. Yeah, I've always enjoyed Walls of Moria. It's been an entertaining, whenever I do it on a character, it's an entertaining series to me, which is actually a good thing because now that I think of it, it's normally the type of thing that I am maybe not a big fan of having to do on every character. But I think one of the big benefits of it is it's relatively short and fast paced, where like with the, say the trait points, something I used to complain about a lot that you have to do on every character as well. It's a lot simpler and a lot more straightforward than doing something like all of the Helm's Deep West Rohan quests. This is an upgrade, but I don't like it. I mean, it's not like this character's died a lot during the stream. He doesn't need mitigation or anything like that.
We have gone through so many pickaxes already.
The burglar provokes the enemy by bringing his daggers together, raising them up in the air slightly, and then the craven just dies.
Imagine the adventure that awaits us within Khazad Dûm.
Must be targeting a different one. There we go. This reminds me that it's always so hard to go back to other games where auto looting is not a thing. Because I was just thinking with the whole dynamic of killing the mob, picking up the branch, not worrying about looting the mob. It's a change of pace and a faster change of pace. Okay, so I need the sharp Aregian stones, which this is a little bit of confirmation, I guess, that you actually do get 2 to start. I guess he gave me a couple examples of what he needs. Is that the story behind why you start with 2? At the very least, that is my story for why you start with 2. That's the difference between being stealth and not stealth with that ability, though. 2.3k or whatever devastate versus 3. What was I critting? 3.7 to 3.8k from stealth. Oh, I need one more stone.
These stones are just what I need, and I thank you for them.
As always, you have been a great help to the dwarves.
Oh, it's a spear.
Very good. We will
Only
start
burglars could
repairing
use spears.
pickaxes
That is a
right
huge
away.
necklace upgrade, though, so I'll take that. But yeah, if only burglars could use spears. It really wouldn't make sense, but I would love it. Could really use a different color on some of these. I don't know how easy it will really be able to, or, whoa, how easy it is to tell the difference that gear makes with the landscape difficulty. That's something I've been interested in testing, and maybe in the future. I think one potential way to test that is just unequip a bunch of gear to sort of simulate being a lot worse geared to see the difference. Because I'm curious if gear makes a similar difference as it maybe normally would in Landscape LOTRO with the difficulty system, or if there's just the way it applies. If you have a bunch of good gear, it doesn't really matter as much as it normally would. Basically, the short version of that is I'm curious if it lessens the effects that gear has.
That's what they would call it.
Okay, so we're going to the wolves now. And we have the shadow wargs. Perfect. I think that's perfect at least. Maybe that was the point to cross. Okay, we'll try down here. I think this is more of the way that I would kind of typically go without thinking about it. Also would help if we could see. Wonder how this character's virtue traits are. I only have 4 equipped, but I also, for some reason, have tolerance and honor. Not the best job there, but loyalty is okay. He has bad virtues, though. That's what we need to know from that. Was that like 9k damage total from coup de grace there? It's a fun ability. Supposedly I killed a shadow warg. I did not actually see anything though. Geared strictly for DPS and virtued strictly for mitigations, if that would make a huge difference. Yeah, I'm really curious, especially as you mentioned mitigations as well as mastery, just how much of a difference those make.
What foul and nameless things we face in Moria, I know not. Many foul things.
Alright, let's see how fast I can get in and out of this cave. I wonder why people are running. I don't mean it's a bad thing that they're running library delving, but why they're running it at tier 1. Maybe that's just to get like whatever progress on it, but in my experience, my experience, tier 7 is not that bad, even running with people that are like not geared or whatever, but that could be a concern with them. Maybe they're just interested also in getting it run very quickly, but I was kind of surprised to see a group searching for a tier 1 delving in World or Fellowship or whatever chat they were in. Sometimes you can't tell the difference between a champion and burglar if there's like 3 enemies at most. Or they're AoEs, there are now 5 enemies, that's right. I also think they did, we'll call it fix, even though it's just a change. So at one point they changed double-edged strike and flashing blade where you had to actually target the enemy. But now I don't have to have a target, and I was able to use double-edged strike there. I really like the quality of life they brought back with that. So that's another one of those like random burglar changes they've made throughout patches recently, but one that they actually did revert as well. I was gonna say, why do I feel like I'm way behind on the information gathering? But I actually have 3 out of 5 and the next 2 are here. So we're all caught up on that. And it's full inventory time. Okay, I'll see if I can sell real quick while going back upstairs. Definitely want to sell my actually useful potions. Scholar ingredients, chunk of copper ore, I suppose, barrel. There we go. That allowed me to loot my favorite item in the entire game. Broken wooden club. Okay, I have gotten myself turned around a little bit, but I think the way I need to go is over here. That was pretty satisfying. Potions tend to be useful. Yes. For like healing, if that's what you're talking about, Vic. There's also the debuff removal potions, which are useful, I would say, throughout most of the game, but you'll know, like, get the most use out of them in group content situations, which is typically would involve end-game group content more. But as far as health potions, it really depends on how much danger you're getting yourself into. Because if you're playing with increased landscape difficulty, you might notice a need for them, as I have throughout this stream. Oh, how embarrassing. It's the left pile. But yeah, if you're talking about the regular health and power potions, you tend to use those in group content if there are power drains. Also, this is... I think this will get me back where I need to go. We'll be a little bit adventurous. We'll stop caring only about speed for a second. Provoke? Oh, almost. Well, if he wants to, he can catch up. Actually, I think this was just about my fastest option to get here anyway. Oh, hey, the dwarf. I didn't realize I was already that far on the way back.
I would not have come here.
That guy just deflect. I was gonna say he really wanted to be provoked, but he really just wanted to show me up by deflecting it. Then I think a bunch of turn-ins. I don't know how long I've spent so far in the Walls of Moria, but I really do feel like this is one of my record speeds for going through this. We also do get a dagger. That's perfect because I'll need an offhand, but I'm really not doing enough damage. Like, coup de grace didn't one-shot one of those half-orcs, even if he's completely out of stealth and without aim, so really need that improvement. Also, let's see, do I prefer the sword or the mace? I think the mace is better because of the morale. Might... I'd be surprised if they changed might. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. Effectively, it doesn't do anything. Unless they make a parry-based burglar tank as well. 4th spec.
I am not sure Khazad-dûm can be restored. The orcs have surely ruined it. If we drive the orcs from Khazad-dûm...
Oh, we don't want the Fall of Moria. See, I know Chapter 9 is when we get our first LI. And then we do the whole Watcher thing a couple times. Well, let's see, I think we head back east again, and then we do that. We go out, get our LI, then come back, do the Watcher thing again, and then get our second LI. Is it something like that? Am I remembering correctly? We'll find out here soon. Also, this might be a sad day where Browen's ring is an upgrade for me.
I have need of your great skill.
Long have Durin's folk
For the
desired to look
doors
upon
of
the halls
Durin.
Moria once again. to reclaim their birthright from the goblins and orcs who now dwell there.
All right, so this ring has a lot of vitality. That's its main draw. I don't think I want it over the others. If it were crit rating, I would definitely do it over the yellow ring. But I mean, the vitality would be helpful, but I just don't find that I need it that much. Apparently this dwarf counts for Knee Breaker's Manual and the Expert's Guide to Dirty Fighting. I don't plan on killing that dwarf, but I guess good to know he can drop that stuff. Oh, I was getting ahead of myself. Signature is a lot easier to kill without landscape difficulty. Really looking forward to the crafting revamp. It's something that, for some reason, logging into this character, actually before this stream even, when I realized, like, I basically picked him out as the character that I would get the legendary item on for the upcoming video, but when I was playing him and just logged into him and decided that, when I saw this inventory with all these crafting items, that's what really made me look forward to the crafting overhaul, because I like crafting, but I have not enjoyed crafting in LOTRO in a long time. Most of my crafting on alts is just to honestly get them some XP to level up, and because I'm obsessed with gathering, but I haven't even really been concerned about gathering lately. That used to be something, if I were just questing in LOTRO, I would spend like half the time gathering resources. If I saw one on the map, I would go to it, but I just don't consider it worth it nowadays. And I don't know. Lowest level you can go into Moria would be like doing quests in the introduction, 45, starting the Walls of Moria, which will be 5 levels under the quest. Now I believe inside Moria, the lowest level of the quest is 51 once you are inside, so that would be 46. But you can get your legendary items completely at 45 and get into Moria at least. That said, you might be able to do some trickier methods. I forget if Broker's here on the west. Oh no. We'll see. I'm feeling like I'm gonna have to go back south. For some reason, I always forget which direction you have to go. We'll see. But I think we need to go back south. This does not seem familiar. Yeah, it's Bozy that's up here, isn't it? Or are they both down there? Yeah, it's Bozy's up here. Oh, how embarrassing. This was going to be my record speed for getting allies, but I don't think so anymore. That really cost me. Speed running in LOTRO, anyone? But yeah, both gathering and crafting, I just really look forward to it actually being exciting to gather, but also exciting to craft. It made me think about, like, for my high level characters, like what my warden, what would I want to do on my warden? Because it would, a crafting overhaul could make it such that I perhaps primarily gather on my warden, but then maybe all my other characters, like, I could have dedicated crafting alts, crafting/bank alts, and just do the crafting on them. That way I'm free to gather on the characters that actually play more and still get all the value out of crafting on alts. I think that's one of the biggest things, though, in a crafting revamp is, I think in crafting, absolutely everything, all the resources, ingredients, and all the outputs, all the stuff that you actually craft, should be tradable. I personally don't think there should be any involvement of items bound to players. That way, like, it's all open. I don't know, I'm kind of curious if other people think the same with crafting, but that is my general thoughts on that. Otherwise, I also think, and along with that, if everything is BOE, I think that like, you should be able to do crafting on alts. There shouldn't be anything that, like, say my level cap warden, I shouldn't need to craft anything on that level cap warden for that level cap warden. Like, I think I should be able to do it on, I don't know, like some random level 46 burglar or something, if I wanted to. But then there's also, I think one of the big things in LOTRO that they use in their crafting system is restrictions on recipes. A lot of recipes are either one-time use, where your character somehow magically forgets how to craft the thing they just crafted 2 seconds ago. I'd really like to see those go completely away. I'm not the biggest fan of having to acquire recipes. I tend to prefer having to acquire resources and items rather than recipes. Like, having reputation gated recipes, reward track recipes for the LI system as they have now, and there are some other sources, but just having to get recipes is what I'm not as big of a fan of. I'd rather the challenge actually to be getting the items to craft rather than the recipes themselves, if that makes sense. It'd almost effectively be the same thing though, like the same challenge or same stuff you would have to do. You'd just, instead of having the restriction of the recipe, you would have the restriction of the items to craft the recipe. It also, I think, would make the game a lot more clear on what the actual recipes are in the game and what the requirements is to craft different things, because you would just have access to the recipes as you get to the proper crafting tier. That is how I envision crafting revamp could make crafting more exciting to me. It would be a little bit of drastic changes compared to what we have now, but I think that having that clarity and having recipes automatically unlocked without any additional requirement would be a great start to a crafting revamp. Another thing is, I personally don't like guild crafting. I don't know how other people feel too much about guild crafting, but I'm not the biggest fan of it, at least in its current implementation. So I'd either like to see it overhauled somehow, where it just maybe betters your crafting experience and it doesn't really involve recipe gating as it does right now. Or maybe it's just like something you can participate in to get more resources or something like that, if they wanted to keep guild crafting. But I honestly, if we had to compare current LOTRO with guild crafting versus if everything guild crafting was deleted from LOTRO, I honestly would rather the latter. Just have no guild crafting at all, if it weren't completely overhauled, to be honest.
We will reclaim the lost halls of Khazad-dûm.
It's also something that's just annoying, I think, with all the crafting tiers. Maybe it wasn't too bad, like when it was early in the game and you had like through the master tier or whatever, but wait, where's the elf I have to talk to? Okay, I did the Fall of Moria, which is actually filtered. Yet he still offered it to me.
We will reclaim the lost halls of Khazad-dûm.
But there we go. But yeah, I don't really honestly know what crafting would ideally look like to me. I just know that there are these particular areas where I'm maybe not as big of a fan of crafting as I feel like I should be. I wonder what that dagger looks like. I really like this egg laying dagger. from what's it called? Gortha Garwin. But yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff and a lot of potential because the kind of basics of the items that you use, the general gathering, the general crafting process, I think is pretty good in LOTRO. I think they have a really solid foundation. There's a reason I've enjoyed crafting in the past and enjoyed the more baseline crafting. But I just think there's a lot of potential for them to make huge improvements where it would be exciting for me again. But I don't know, if you all have any thoughts on crafting revamp, I would definitely be interested to hear what people would want to see from it and what they maybe like or dislike about the current system. And Jared, you said Burglar's your favorite character to solo. Hopefully you're enjoying the Burglar, kind of rare for me, but Burglar stream today. And then hello, Hankshaw from France, far away. But yes, it is early stream for me today. It's early, almost, yeah, pretty early afternoon still, 3:28. But glad people from perhaps different time zones are able to catch the streams, like in Europe and the such. Anyway, we have to go to the Forges of Rivendell. And I think now is when I'm going to end up spending my Mythal coin to go back to Rivendell. So Vic, for you, you like the crafting system up to level 70 or so, but then it eventually gets really useless feeling. Yeah. I have definitely that same feeling with it, that at higher levels it feels a lot less useful than at lower levels. Anybody else miss the day when this horse was really clean? Now he's only like clean 10%. But for me, I tend to notice the drop off in usefulness of crafting kind of coincident with the Master and Supreme tier. I think the Supreme tier is pretty decent, but then after that is where I really notice a drop off in the excitement of crafting and lessened baseline crafting, like just fewer recipes that you get. There are periods where with Reputation you can get a good set of recipes with all these other different things, but again, the way with that, I don't mind that Reputation could be involved in crafting, but I'd rather it be from the mental perspective of crafting. I would like to have the recipes, but then maybe you get a specific item from that Reputation faction to craft, and that item could be BOE, so it's tradable, and you could have different people craft different things. Okay, I think Sparrow is the one. Yeah, we'll get Sparrow. Just to double check, Serpent is 6147,551. Yeah, definitely Sparrow, even at this level. I am really looking forward to second lunch soon. Streaming makes me hungry. All this burgling. Okay, Snarr. We'll reforge the Burglar's Dagger of Legends. Then we're back to Rothwald. I don't need to spend a Mythal coin to go to him. Actually, I don't know if I'll have the Swift Travel tech at Dunnan, so I might end up spending a Mythal coin, because I didn't make my map home mech at Dunnan either. Oh well. I have a lot of Mythal coins, I'm just so stingy about spending them.
How can I be of service?
Okay, do have the Swift Travel. Maybe it's a level requirement, or maybe they even got rid of... I thought there used to be different, maybe quest requirements or something. I don't know. Oh, and just me, Spin. Sorry, I saw your question earlier, but I think I was going on about other stuff. But you asked if any idea what expansion could come after Harad. Well, I think with the expansion, it sounds like focusing on Gondor and the coastline and Umbar. I think actually the next expansion could be Harad. Could be like further into Harad. But if you're wondering like next major area outside of Harad, there's going to be Khand, Nirn, and Rune, I think are the other big areas. I don't see them going back to Forodwaith although I'd be interested in that. I need a break from that area, but I would be interested in that. So I would guess that after they finish whatever they want in Harad, it'd probably be Rune, but maybe it could be Nirn. It's not really definitive response, but
Dire is the creature
I mean,
called
those are
Watcher in
pretty much the
Void,
possibilities.
an ancient evil called forth by the
Quested
dark
for
ones.
Eregion,
Perhaps
but not
they
for, okay, Eka Dunnan.
can be
That makes
seen
sense then.
past the terror.
So I was like, normally I have trouble swift traveling between those. Also, we can slot some traceries. Actually, that's something I'm going to wait to do that. It's very specific for the video that I am working on. And the whole reason we have this stream again is that video. That is the grand mistake that spawned this stream for today. Tiny daggers are still effective at cutting up tentacles. Good to know. It's been a long while since I've done the Watcher raid. I don't even think I've run it that much in my LOTRO playtime, because usually when we'd like randomly do a raid back in the early days, like this would have been during mainly Rise of Isengard expansion, and I was even high enough level to do Moria content, it would have been Turtle. And then even on the Legendary server, for some reason we didn't run the Watcher that much. It seemed like we spent a lot more time running the 6-mans, or whatever, as a group, and Turtle. Turtle's very straightforward level 58 raid, you can do it. It's very entertaining as well. I also forget that chapter 12, I always expect it to be so much longer than it is, but it's fairly straightforward. Okay, Dodger of the Watcher, and Seeker of Deep Places, so we can enter Moria. And we'll get our Burglar's tools there. Not only that, it takes you right here. Casa Doom at last. Let me clean my inventory before we turn this in. At least somewhat clean it up. Half-orc skewer. Ooh, I want to make sure... Yes, half-orc skewer. That is the one that I want. I want the skewer. There we go. And then Dodger of the Watcher, I think, is an upgrade for me. Of course, if I crafted this character gear, I could always replace that. Okay, I'll go ahead and lock these just to be safe. There we go. So, Burglar's tools. And we are done. Also, just to confirm, it looks like the intro quest here is level 51, so once you get into Moria, it would be 46, if whoever was asking that earlier was here. There's the confirmation on that. Okay, so with the legendary items, let's go ahead and equip the Burglar's tools. I actually had no Burglar's tools equipped yet. How wonderful. And then we want to open all the boxes, which is going to include these for enhancement runes. And then I think I also got some level specific tracery boxes. Now I don't open boxes if they aren't level specific, I'll save those. But for the level specific ones, might as well use them because you'd end up replacing them anyway. Also, we are having a moment of lag here. I guess it's better to have lag now than in combat. But yeah. Coup de grace, crit chance. Although I use that a lot with aim at this point. So we have hedge your bet damage, positional damage should be okay for us. It's kind of hard to guarantee that solo, but not much I can do about that one. That's what I have. So we got that. I think I was supposed to get a heraldry. We can put that in the dagger as well, which should be quite the stat boost. That's like a pretty solid piece of gear worth of stats in that one heraldry. And then the Burglar's tools as well. We can equip our one Word of Mastery here. We do have to reforge, so that's actually something I can't actually do with either of these town services. Because I got them at lower level. That's okay though. Anyway, I can go ahead and finish what I was doing with enhancement runes at this point, and then we can go somewhere to reforge. I think typically for a character like this, I would actually save the enhancement runes though for the heraldries as I level up. But yeah, we'll go Dolven BU. Yeah, that'll have a Forge Master for us. If we wanted a Moria adventure, I have both my champion and burglar here. I was thinking champion, but see, the problem is I was having a lot of fun on my champion, but now that I've played my burglar, do I want to do this on my burglar? But basically taking a character through, it was specifically the Silvertine loads to unlock the quest for the Forgotten Treasury. It's just something I was thinking about doing. But yeah, I feel like, I don't know, both characters could work for Moria. I wouldn't be opposed to doing a couple good Moria play sessions, maybe go through a couple zones. Yeah, a lot of reputation stuff involved in crafting is a good point, Gary. Quality of life stuff is good. Best in slot, at least best in slot like alternatives or something like that, I definitely don't mind. Especially if it is actually, if we go back to the idea I had of everything being freely tradable and movable between characters, I definitely would not as much mind if they just had clear best in slot items for crafting. Maybe not all of them. Maybe it could also be like your class items related stuff. Could be very good from crafting. Were they considering adding bows to burglar at a point? I don't think they've done that, but if they have, then I need to get up on that. I'm pretty sure that's never happened though. I could be getting it mixed up with something else, but maybe it was just players complaining about the lack of stats in a ranged slot for burglars. But I've gotten myself curious. Actually, you can just check in your passives here and see what weapons you have access to down here. But yeah, no bows. That's a good thing if you ask me. I don't think burglars should have bows. Here we go with the reforge. That is the last thing that I needed to get done in this stream. Somehow managed it in 3 hours, but kind of like the champion, I am curious the difference that having the LIs makes in terms of the whole landscape difficulty thing. So I think a good way to test that would be a skirmish. I'll do a slightly different skirmish. We'll do Thievery and Mischief. That seems like a good one for a burglar. But we'll test the skirmish pre and post LIs and see if there's a noticeable difference. I was already doing pretty solid, I will say, before that adventure, but oh no, not this guy. But I'm hoping this will kick it up a notch and the damage difference will be noticeable. Can I at least riddle him? I can't. Normally this guy's damage doesn't actually get, say, in the way, but right now it is in his bubble. It'd be nice if you could crowd control him during his bubble phase. That still works. Oh, this one does have counterattacks. I feel like there's a damage difference, but it really is hard to tell without actually, like if I had combat analysis up, could actually measure that, but oh, still dying though. I did get more stats from these weapons, but they're not like, I guess, going to make that much of a difference in terms of survivability. I do have maybe like 300 or 400 more health, but I'm also, since the skirmish I ran, I think I was still 45 at the end of that, actually. I've gotten a lot of XP. Wonderful 126 armor buff. I think this one has 2 counterattacks if I remember correctly. And apparently it has lag to go along with it. That works. But yeah, it does seem to be a little bit noticeably increased damage, I guess, would be the main thing that I'm noticing here. It's really hard to tell if I'm able to like run through this faster than normal. Getting the proper way to actually test the difference. Oh, there is actually a counterattack here. Oops. Echo of Death. Living up to its name. But yeah, the proper way to actually test, of course, pre and post LIs is like could do a parse on a training dummy or something just to see the damage difference, or throughout maybe running the same skirmish. There's still a lot of variables with it, but it'd just be give you a couple data points of damage done before, damage done after. Maybe wouldn't measure survivability as much. Okay, I'm going to really focus on this Echo of Death here, which is a strong suit of the burglar for sure. Especially with coup de grace at this level. I know it's probably less used like that in group content situations, but it's hard to deny the massive damage it does as an opener at this point. I have a cat in my way again. Okay, my corruption removal is control 3, but I know I need the crit chain for it. There we go. And cat's out of the way, perfect. One more. Hey. Ow. I don't know. It's such a long pause before I realized what ability I wanted to use. I just went completely... like, thought about it too much, basically. Because I think the big thing is, for some reason in my mind, I had coup de grace as a AoE, but it's not, and I know that. So I was like, I had to pause and I'm like, wait a minute, what do I want to use? I think it's partially a problem of playing champion, and that ability, it reminds me of champion abilities, in particular Raging Blade, so I like, for some reason, just mentally connect those two abilities sometimes and interchange them when they're not different at all. Really is crazy though, since getting the legs for this desk to convert it between sit and stand, just the at first how it seemed like I was standing for so long when I'd stand for like an hour or 2 hours, but now it's like even after yesterday's recording session, which apparently was not great for my back, just how easy it is for me to stand 3 hours now and hardly even notice it in the legs. I'm kind of curious what, I think some people have like boards that they put, I don't know what else to call them, but maybe balance boards that they stand on at a standing desk. There was another encounter, also I didn't really play this as if it were actually an elite mob, so we'll see how this goes. Last elite mob I faced I think was with the blue line though. I will say this went smoother than the blue line, but there's a very good chance that's not actually because of the spec difference. Or not because of the... Yeah, not just because of the allies and spec difference. There's a lot going on to make that previous attempt quite terrible. So I still don't have that guaranteed crit trait. Okay, that is good to know. I will say what... Oh, I wasn't paying attention to my health. I was thinking about this idea. So I will say with the burglar... Why am I in combat? I also need to fix something because YouTube is not working well for me today. There we go. Okay. So with the burglar, one thing that... I feel like I've already forgot what it was. I shouldn't have distracted myself in the middle of that. Oh yes, it was with cunning attack. Okay. The stream replay saved me. But one thing that I kind of wish with cunning attack is it has all these different versions, and the different versions can stack. So you can have like the stealth version stack with the regular version, stack with the crit version, stack with the devastating version, I believe. I haven't tested every single version, but that's actually exactly the problem that I find with it, is there's, to me, not the most clarity in what exactly stacks with what with it, and then what overwrites what. So I think that's one thing, if they were to do some work on the burglar, something that I'd like to see perhaps changed. I wouldn't mind, it's already got a relatively short duration. I don't know how much it would really impact balance if it just always could stack over itself and not necessarily replace itself, but yeah, perhaps that's something I would just like to see with that, basically. Also, I'm curious if this guy, he's an elite, but if he has enough health where I think I can do the coup de grace aim opener on him and be fine with that. Oh yeah, there's no question about that. And I think with that, that is everything that well, it's already everything that I want to cover with the stream. So I think that this will be a good point to wrap up. I'm really happy with how the stream turned out with everybody that joined. Again, that was a big question for me. Both being a holiday in the US and being a earlier time with EU viewers. It either could have gone like nobody was here to watch the stream, or well, it feels like everybody, which is how it turned out. So glad to see that worked. So potentially could try to actually push myself to do earlier streams in the future, especially on maybe like weekends or just other off days when I'm able to. Anyway, I am really looking forward to a late second lunch / early dinner. And also for future LOTRO playtime, I actually have no idea what I would stream next. We'll see if anything random comes up. If I have another mistake where I forgot to record something for a video, well, that's always a possibility. But yeah, right now I'm focusing on some projects for throughout July, really, and perhaps even into early August, depending how much I get done. But I have three 3 big projects that I'm really excited about, as well as a few little ones that you might see scattered about in the next few weeks. And we also have eventually the update 37 beta, probably a few weeks out, and more class revamp details, all that sort of stuff. Could make an early and late stream, that is true, but I got stuff to do today. Anyway, hope you all did enjoy the stream though, and if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. And I do have to shout out again Gaston for gifting 5 memberships, and of course the Zachary who's been here and a member for a long time on the Mythal tier, and all the other channel members. Hopefully I didn't forget anybody that's been here throughout this, but yeah, I did want to thank you all for that, and thank everyone for joining, chatting, and watching.